Welcome back, familiar to No Side LDN. And today, listen, Deji's sitting there all smug, yeah, because he held it by Mr. Goody Binin. Yeah, gave him a nice little 2-0. And he's lucky because we were supposed to do the rival show. And then Arsenal were playing, and you lot played, and you won against Crystal Palace, and that was your get out of jail card. You're very lucky, bro. I swear down, this feeling that Puta trying to get away with it, bro. So are we going to look over Goody Binin doing your team up?
No. I think we need to unpick it, bro, because there's a lot of things to unpick. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not getting too carried away with us beating Crystal Palace 4-0. I will say though, when it comes to you guys were wax lyrical about how well you guys did at Selhurst Park, winning 2-1, I think it was, and you man were overrun in that game, even though you guys managed to get the 3 points. So it's nice to be able to say that we went to Selhurst Park and slapped Crystal Palace 4-0.
What happened against Mr. Good Evening? Let's start with that game. Yeah, because you're not going to go anywhere. What happened with that game, bro? Because you lot got smashed up in that game. What's going on?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm still fuming about that game, and I think the obvious thing for me is what is clear is that look, let's not get it twisted. Conte is an elite manager, but Conte is a manager for the now. He's not here for the future. He ain't trying to do Star Trek. Do you know what I mean? He's not trying to do, extra drive and drive into the future with lightning. This man wants to do things now. Now, with Tottenham, it's obvious. We are not ready to give this brother the money he needs to do the thing now. Conte is not like an Arteta. He's not going to take some young guns. He ain't going to develop them. No. His thing is all about give me a 29-year-old Kane, give me a 33-year-old Perisic, bring in a Gundogan, bring in a Lewandowski at 35, and let's do a thing in that season. And that's not going to work. So Tottenham is almost like Tottenham's got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Now I'm gonna go as far as this, bro, because I was so pissed off, and I'm still pissed off. There is no point pretending that we're a big club. I know what I'm saying is mad. Because if you're a big club and you bring in a big manager, then you need to be ready to put down big boy peas. I would rather Tottenham say, you know what? We're not ready to compete, pay 300 grand a week for a Sterling. We're not ready. Let's just put ourselves in our category and go for cheap players and mold them. But I would prefer that because for me, I feel like we're stuck in between a rock and a hard place because we're not spending and we're pretending to be big, but we're not ready to be big because we don't want to spend. But then we're too big to do what the Wolves and Southampton and Brighton are doing, which is to actually go out and scout some gems in Europe, bro. How comes we didn't find McAllister? How comes we didn't find Neto, bro? Are you telling me that these men can't play for Spurs? Neto, McAllister, Podence, Polinia at Fulham. Like, it's pissing me off. So I would rather Tottenham come down from their high horse and say, you know what? We're not as big as we think we are. Maybe we're not part of the top 6 and we do some shrewd business. But what we're doing at the moment is we're not getting either. And that don't make no sense. And so we're literally in no man's land. And so that's why I'm pissed. So, bro, we got slapped up by Aston Villa simply for that fact. And the maddest thing is, you know and I know that I've been calling out for Jed Spence from the beginning of the season. And the thing that got me the maddest was in his post-match interview, Conte says that Tottenham don't have any players that can do 1v1. Hello? That's why we bought Jed Spence, because that's what he does. 1v1. And you want to know the dirty of dirty? You want to know the dirty of dirty? Tottenham were 4-0 up yesterday after 70 minutes. And Spence still didn't come on. I mean, I don't know what is it going to take to get this brother on the pitch. Because for me now, Tottenham could have been 16-0 up against Palace. He still ain't coming on. So, bro, do you know what? I don't know. So, yes, Spurs won 4-0 yesterday, but I'm still ruined from the Aston Villa result. And I'm extremely pissed, bro. I can't lie.
The thing is, yeah, like I fully agree with everything that you're saying, but if you're saying that Tottenham don't move like a big club, why are you making big boy predictions that you could potentially win the Champions League or the Premier League? Yeah. You guys don't spend the money to compete, and you guys aren't run the way a top club should be run to be able to compete with those things. Do you know what I'm saying? This is why it's like, bro, I mean, Arsenal, even though we drew against Newcastle, which we'll come on to that, even I'm not making predictions like that. I'm saying I'll take it game by game, week by week. You're the one that came out with your King Kong chest, coming out with, we're going to win this, we're going to win that. I don't understand where that chest is coming from.
Well, what it is, bro, is the difference between me and you, and I mean this with the greatest respect, is that what I'm hearing from you is Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall and he stayed on the wall. Because what you're doing, bro, is you're staying on the wall. You understand? Now, I'll tell you about why I'm predicting what I'm predicting with Spurs. You know that cup competition has got nothing to do with form. It's got everything to do with the game and the moment. Bro, when Tottenham got to the final of the Champions League, we weren't expected to get to the final that season, bro. But in that season, remember, we knocked out City, having played them home and away. And City did their thing and won the league that year. So, for me, bro, I'm pumping my chest because miracles can happen. And let me tell you this, real talk. I know your answer to this, but I want to hear you say it because, you know, I like the sound of your voice. Did you expect Arsenal to be top of the league at this point in the season before the season started? Could you answer that question?
No, I didn't know.
You didn't. So is it fair to say that Arsenal have exceeded expectation?
So far, yeah.
Yeah. So miracles can happen.
When has Tottenham ever exceeded expectations?
No, but bro, when we got to the Champions League final, that was exceeding expectation, bro.
Yeah, but you didn't win it.
I know, but
you never hear me talking about the time that we had Barcelona.
I'm saying to you that with the way things are going for Tottenham, don't be surprised if Tottenham can win the Champions League. And let me drop you another.
Your manager.
Let me drop you another nugget.
Him and Levy are clashing. It looks like Conte only wants to sign a contract for Tottenham if he's guaranteed certain signings. Levy looks like he doesn't really want to give him the money. I don't know what's going on, but both of them don't sound too happy. I saw Conte on his press conference, and he said if he's not happy with the project, then he's happy to leave. You know, he's happy to pack up his work and leave. So I don't know, bro. Like this kind of, you know, you need togetherness at your club. That's one thing that Arsenal have had this season, and that's one thing I can give them props. Is there's whether I rate this manager or not, the players are playing for Mikel and the owners believe in Mikel. And you need that, bro, because that breeds confidence. Conte isn't happy with certain players. Certain players, I'm sure Jed Spence isn't happy with not being played. The board want Conte to sign a new contract. Conte is saying, bro, if I don't get certain reassurances, I'm not signing a contract. It's looking rocky, bro. For you lot to go and win a league or win the Champions League, I don't see it happening with this. When you got to the final with Poch, everyone was behind Poch. The board, they probably could have given him a bit more money, but there was more. They
didn't give him any money, bro.
But there was a solidarity. Your group of players believed in Poch, and Poch believed in them, and that dragged them to the final. You don't even have that right now, in my opinion,
bro. I think, and you said something at the start of the show, innit? You said what you wanted to say is kind of difficult because of what happened yesterday. I think if we had done this show yesterday before the Crystal Palace game, I would agree with that statement. But Tottenham, the way they slapped up Palace yesterday, that doesn't tell me that they're not united. We'll see. But what I wanted to say is this, bro. Conte pulled off a miracle getting that team fourth, you know. Pipping you to fourth was like winning a cup. It was like winning one of the Mickey Mouse Cups. For me, I think
coming out with a statement like that, that's why you're Tottenham.
I think pipping you to fourth was equivalent to winning the FA Cup last season. I really do. I think it has that kind of weight and level. But bro, who's to say that Tottenham don't slap up AC Milan quarterfinals, draw City in the quarterfinals? You know that the biggest bogey team for City in the Premier League is Spurs. Doesn't matter what anyone thinks of the football, but most of the time, Tottenham strangely seem to get the better of City. So we bad them up in the quarterfinals, slap up Liverpool in the semi-final, bro, and then we're in the final.
I just don't see it happening, bro. When you got to the finals under Poch, you actually had decent to good, very good centre-backs. You actually had a team where everyone was pulling their weight. Your team doesn't look as good sometimes when you don't have Kulusevski. Your team don't look so good if Son isn't firing. Harry Kane, you already know if he ain't firing, then it's a long day for you lot. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at your team, and I've been saying it, I don't see Tottenham going in January and buying the centre-backs that you need. Yeah, you got Romero. If Romero's not available, that defensive unit is dead, bro. And you can't just be relying on one guy. There's a lot that you don't need to address, and I don't see Tottenham addressing it, because I think that if Tottenham do give that reassurance to Conte, he'll sign a new contract.
Oh, bro,
that's all he wants. He wants to be back to get.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, bro. I'm gonna say something, and I might have to eat my words at the end of the season, and I'm quite happy to eat my words because there's a lot of things that we've been putting on the line in this show. Me and you, in particular, our friendship. You get me, and all them things there, but. The truth of the matter is, bro, I don't mind if Conte leaves. I don't mind because the football, that no make it for me. I'm not happy with the football. And for me, I think we need Poch. I think Tottenham made a mistake in getting rid of Pochettino. We got ahead of ourselves. We went into what I call the goldfish moment. It's like Klopp. It's like Liverpool getting rid of Klopp now. That would be the maddest thing. With all the good success he's done, and then you're going to just get rid because maybe they're having a bit of a below par season based on the high standards that they've set over the years. Let's be real. Arsenal, I'm going to commend Arsenal for once on your show, bro, to say them man they actually stuck by Arteta when the going got rough. Because any other manager during that barren span that Arsenal was going through probably would have got slapped up. Probably would have got sacked, but you guys stood by him, and you guys are reaping the rewards of standing by your manager and believing in the process. But for me, do I believe in what Conte's doing? No, I don't. I think he's self-sabotaging. He's not playing the right players. He's not playing the right system. It don't look right. It don't feel right. Yeah, we beat Crystal Palace, but really and truly, we could turn up against you and get slapped 7-0. So for me, I like Conte, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's like this. If Tottenham are ready to back him properly and give him the resources, let's back him. I think he can do a job. If we're not ready to back him and give him the resources, then Conte's got to go. It's as simple as that. But what we can't have is this in the middle, because that don't work for him, and that's not working for the players, and that definitely ain't working for the fans. However, despite all of this, Conte is crazy enough to pull a rabbit out the hat, bro. And that rabbit could be the Champions League. I ain't going to lie. I said it to you last week that I don't give a damn if Tottenham finish 12th, provided they win the Champions League. And if they win the Champions League, that's killing two birds with one stone. We deal with your trophy comments, and we're in the Champions League next year. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going with, bro. But look, I hear what you're saying, but if Conte got sacked next week after the Arsenal game or after the City game, I wouldn't be upset, no.
But where would you lot go from Conte? Because it hasn't worked out with Jose. It hasn't worked out with Poch, you know?
No, it worked out with Poch. Remember, over the 5-year period that Poch was in charge, Tottenham was in the top 4, bro. We got second, we got third, we got fourth again. We did not back Pochettino for 3 transfer windows. Everybody forgets that. When we got to the final of the Champions League, Spurs had not bought one player from the transfer window for 18 months. That's madness. So Pochettino pulled out a miracle. What we need to do, Levy and the board need to apologize to Pochettino, say, look, we made a mistake. what you man were building back in the day, it was good. Can you come back, start the rebuild again? We're going to give you the time. I would rather that, because that was the best Tottenham team I've ever seen. And this is why I have beef with you sometimes, my bro. You and some of these other people that try to give the Mickey Mouse Cup more status than it needs. Because in Tottenham's quest to pick up the Carabao Cup, we got rid of our best manager in recent history to chase the Carabao Cup and send us through this bullshit barren run. Had we just stuck with the thing, focusing on the two important things in life and in the football world, Champions League and Premier League, then I'd be singing you a new song. I wouldn't be getting trolled online, you pumping your chest. You wouldn't be top of the league right now. That wouldn't be happening. Tottenham would be top. But because we went after the Carabao Cup and the shoddy FA Cup, we brought in Mourinho. We went against our principles. Tottenham was a club known for playing football, and we went in and brought this dusty football, starting with Mourinho, and then closely followed by Mourinho 2.0 in Conte. And then I get people like you pumping your chest, telling me how crap my football is and how rubbish our defense is. You know, I'm having to take rubbish like this because of errors that Levy and the board has done. So look, I'll take that. But Pochettino needs to come back. People are saying to me, what about Tuchel? No, we're not interested in Tuchel. We want Pochettino. Bring back Poch, bring back Poch, bring back Poch.
Listen, all I'm going to say about that is how much backing would Poch need? Because this team, for me, is light years away from the team you had in the Champions League final. You know, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in this team. Your defensive setup is appalling. I don't like any of your fullbacks, if I'm being completely honest. I don't like anyone. Jed Spence doesn't get a game, so it's hard to really judge him. He doesn't get a game. But the rest of them, I'm not impressed. Then you look at your centre-backs. Why is Dyer still there? How long has he been there? Like 10 years? Like, why is Skip still in the midfield? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, Brian Hill, I think he did very well for the assist against Crystal Palace for Harry Kane's second goal. Very good, but he's a bit lightweight. Technically, very good. He looks very good technically. I can't lie. But is he ready to be a starter? I'm not too sure. You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at it, it's a bit like there's a lot to be rebuilt. Like, I know you
can I make you laugh? Can I make you laugh, bro? So Pochettino was at Spurs, what? We're talking about 4 years ago. Do you know that under Poch, Dyer wasn't starting and Ben Davis? Them man were on their way out. It's only when Poch left that these brothers started being in the starting 11. So for me,
that's what I'm saying. These men are starters now.
That's what I'm saying. Poch needs to come back because Poch knew Wild One back then.
Yeah, but now he has to replace them, bro. Then you're starting lineup now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Will Tottenham give him the money, bro? Because you got a whole defense you need to rebuild. Then you got the midfield that needs some rebuilding as well. And then you still need another striker for me. Because Harry Kane's got what, 18 months? He might stay, he might not stay. If I'm him, I don't stay. Because he needs to win something.
Kane is 29, bro. What do you mean by 18 months?
I heard he got 18 months left on his contract. His contract went out.
Bro, look. I hear what you're saying.
How old is Harry Kane? 30?
He's 29.
29, right.
Yeah.
Why would you not say, listen, if I leave on a free, all the big teams can take me because they don't have to play. They don't have to pay for me to come out top. They just give me a little signing on bonus, and then I can go to Bayern Munich. I can go to probably not Barcelona. Maybe Real Madrid may look at him. Whoever, Juventus, that are trying to rebuild again. Yeah, I could go there and get trophies. Why am I going to stay up top where everything's up in the air? You keep getting a manager, not backing him. The team is regressing, like you said. A lot of players like Skip and Dyer that were bench players are now starting lineup players. You're buying certain players that seem like they're not players that the manager wanted. Spence must not be the type of player that your manager wanted because he's not playing it. It doesn't make any sense.
It's madness. It's madness that Spence thing.
So why would he stay, bro?
I would say this though. If Conte stays, then Kane has to go. Because we need that. Kane is not a Conte type player. the style, the system. Even though he's bagged goals, he's bagged 15 goals. It's just not his thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, he would have to go, and we would have to bring in younger players who can do the high press and play that kind of football. However, if we bring back Pochettino, I think Kane should stay, because I think Pochettino was able to work a magic with that team that no one else has been able to do. So for me, it's really down to the board. But what I will say to you is, if you can back Conte, you can back Poch. Conte spent more money than Poch already. He spent more money than Poch already. That's just madness.
The one thing I will say to Conte, he's a proven winner. Poch ain't no proven winner, bro.
Bro, do you know what?
He ain't no proven winner. You might like his football more, but at the end of the day, what would you prefer? Sexy football under Poch or horrible football under Conte, but you back him and he wins you cups? What would you prefer? Because for me, I look at it like this. I don't really care. There's different ways to skin a cat. As long as you can guarantee me trophies, I don't really care, bro.
But bro, can I just say this? It's very difficult to answer the statement you just made, because we don't know, even when backed, if Conte can do anything with this squad. But what I can tell you is this. I would rather finish second and third than finish fourth. And Pochettino's got Spurs finishing second and third in the league. He just has to get it over the line. That's all. But bro, this is why I make the point about the cups. People keep trolling me about the cups. Deji, how can you be so rude? How can you be so insensitive? Rare, this and that. Let me ask you, would you rather finish 8th with the FA Cup or 4th in the Prem? In this day and age, don't do this fluffy stuff. You get me? Because there's a lot of Sky Sports pundits on here chatting some hella bullshit. Like, yeah, well, when you look back in history and we look at the trophy cabinet, well, what are we going to see? Shut up. I don't want to hear that rubbish. Right now, what would you rather be in? Champions League and the opportunity to win the Champions League, or finish 8th with the Carabao Cup? Which one is it, bro?
Okay, let me say this. How many years now have you lot qualified for the Champions League? How many times after qualifying for the Champions League, how many times has your club actually put the money down and went for it? It's all good qualifying for the Champions League, yeah? But if your club is not going to back the manager, put the money down that needs to be spent to really compete in it, because both me and you both know Poch did a miracle getting you lot to the final, yeah? It wasn't because the board spent the money needed to get him there. Poch coached his way into that final. I've seen it as well with Arsenal. We had 20, 25 years of qualifying for the Champions League. Not once did I see Arsenal taking it serious, bro. After that final we had against Barcelona, I never see my club taking it serious. We'd get to the quarterfinals and that would be job done. Because we don't invest enough, we're not serious enough, we don't go into transfer windows buying what we need. We always leave with, we still need this, we still need to strengthen this. So it's all good qualifying for the Champions League, but are you qualifying to participate, or are you qualifying to actually compete? So are you Arsenal, and I'll be real, both Arsenal and Tottenham have both been guilty of not fully going in for the Champions League.
I hear what you're saying. Are you telling me right now?
There's no point. I don't care about
would you rather win the Carabao Cup than finish fourth?
Yeah, if my club is not going to spend the money necessary and buy proper players, then we're just going to the Champions League to make money.
So are you telling me you rather win the Carabao Cup?
Well, it's a cup, isn't it?
No, it's not a cup. It's rubbish.
Listen, Deji, listen to me. What is the point of your club getting Champions League but never actually going for it? What is the point? Isn't that irrelevant?
No, bro.
Because you just want to say, oh, we're in the Champions League, but are you actually going for it? Because we've been in it for 25 years. How many times do we
players want to be in the biggest competitions, bro? I
want to be in it, but I don't want to be in it just to make up the numbers. That's wasting my time, bro.
Bro, so can I ask you a question? So we just finished the World Cup a couple of weeks ago. Are you telling me that certain countries, I'm not going to name drop because I don't want people trolling me or anything like that, but are you telling me that the US and Canada shouldn't bother turning up?
How can you compare international?
Yeah, bro, you're saying if you're not gonna win it, then there's no point turning up.
Bro,
that's
Canada can't go out there and buy Messi and make him Canadian. They can't go out there and get Harry Kane and make him Canadian. So it doesn't correlate to the same thing. When I'm talking about a club has it within their power to spend the money in the transfer window, to back their manager, to go in and show ambition. And when I've seen my club not do that for over 20 odd years, not spending the money necessary or spending it stupidly, then I'm going to tell you, for more experience being in the Champions League more, with all due respect, what is the point if your club's not going to take it serious? Now, if my club's going to be taking it serious and doing everything they can to win the Champions League, then of course I want to be in the Champions League. But not if you're just going to be there to make the numbers, bro. Because I tell you what, it's boring getting in the Champions League and getting knocked out in the quarterfinals all the time. Every year, quarterfinals knockout, because we don't take it serious, because we don't do what we need to do.
Yeah.
Now, I hope it changes with Arsenal now. Yeah. But I'm telling you now, bro, it is boring, bro. It's all good for the little, oh yeah, we qualified for track. What are you doing, bro? It's about winning it. It's not just about winning it. So that's what I'm saying. It all depends on what's going on with your club.
I need to respond to something real quick, but it's in line with the topic. So we've got root cause. Now the FA Cup isn't good enough for a club that ain't won shit since 2004? ? The aim of elite sport is to win, but to this Spurs fan, laugh out loud, what a plum. Root cause. I'm publicly saying, shut up, you donut. Yeah, that's what you're getting from me. You're a donut. Because you're pretending that the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup mean the same thing that it meant 20 years ago. What does when you win the FA Cup, what happens? Truth Gunner. What happens? You get Europa League. What's that? The best players and the biggest teams want to play in the biggest competitions. I'm saying the FA Cup is no longer big enough to satisfy my appetite as a Spurs fan. Neither is the Carabao Cup, because that don't get you anything. That gets you, at best, an opportunity for you to take part in the Europa League. So look who's chatting what. Do you get what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you want to be in the best competition, because in the best competition, you can attract the best players. You're bringing in more money. Playing in the Champions League brings in more money than playing in that dusty FA Cup. True or false? Go on Google.
But when does your club actually use that money?
Just do the maths.
No, but when does your club actually use that money? Hold on, Des. Hold on. When does your club actually use that money to strengthen the team, bro? Because you've just been moaning about
I hear what you're saying,
back, bro. Then you got Conte not getting backed. This is a repeat. Do you know what I'm saying? So your club is getting that Champions League money, pocketing it. That's why they're not going forward. That's why they're not winning the Champions League, bro. This is what I'm telling you. It's all good qualifying for that competition. But if your club is not going to compete in it, they're just pocketing the money.
Yeah, but at the moment,
and I'm missing off the man.
The only issue I would say, the last time, can I just say this though? Because what I'm not liking is people not acknowledging getting to a final. The last time Tottenham was in the Champions League, they were in the final. Do you get me? Okay, we didn't win it, but we were in the final, I lie. And on the day, it's on the day, innit? Whatever happens on the day, happens on the day. And on the day, we lost to Liverpool. This season, we're still in the competition. So you can't say that Tottenham ain't taking the Champions League seriously, because the last time we were in it, we got to the final, bro. How about that?
But the way you've been run, is that sustainable?
Bruv, no, it's not. It's not sustainable. However, that's why I'm saying to you, Tottenham is at a crossroad right now. I agree with you. Tottenham, either we need to go big. If we're saying we're a big club, then we need to back Conte. And if we back him properly, I think he can do a job. If we're not going to back Conte, then he's got to go and we bring in Pochettino, because Pochettino did what he did on limited resource. Remember, we didn't buy Kane. He bought Kane through. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah? Along with them other ones. We bought Dele Alli for bloody 5 mil. Do you get what I'm saying? So Poch was doing stuff on a shoestring. And for me, He did an amazing job. Now, if that's what we want to do, Brighton style, Graham Potter, Harry Potter, and mold players who are nobodies and make them somebodies, let us do it and let us know that we're not a big club. There's no point paying 20 mil for Conte if you ain't going to put the P down. But you're right. Right now, Tottenham is undecided. We're not sure if we're big. We're not sure if we're small. And that's where the problem comes in. However, in the midst of all of that madness, I'm still saying that Conte is crazy enough to pull a rabbit out the hat. And nobody's telling me otherwise. I don't want to hear people's opinions. I don't give a damn. The last time Tottenham was in the Champions League, we got to the final. Let that sink in. And currently, we got AC Milan in the round of 16. I'll take that all day long. I'll take it all day long.
Brandon, what do you make of what's going on at Tottenham? Obviously, they lost to Mr. Goody Benin 2-0. But they did beat Crystal Palace 4-0. What do you make of the situation at Tottenham at the moment?
They're just up and down club, aren't they?
Yeah,
1 minute.
Root beer, shut your face. Sorry, bro.
1 minute.
Can we get root beer on? Can we send root beer the link? Because he seems to have a good. Hey, root calls. You seem to be. You're one of them guys in it with your pot belly stretching out with all the little stretch marks, sitting there in your underwear, bashing the keyboard, trolling man. Shut up and get a life and go eat a carrot or something, bro. Go and eat a carrot and get healthy.
Yo, allow it, man. I'm actually ill. I'm actually ill. Go on, Brandon.
Nah, Tottenham are a weird club, aren't they? They're a really weird club because 1 minute they're just appalling.
Against pussy, bro. Get on the stream. Sorry, Brandon. Get on
against
the stream.
Aston Villa.
Stop talking in the darkness.
They were just appalling against Aston Villa. And then, you go into that Crystal Palace game and you kind of think, all right, okay, Palace, tough game, really. They could do something here. And then all of a sudden you're seeing 4-0. And it's like, you don't know what Tottenham was turning up from 1 week to the next. You might end up with the Tottenham that can play ball and score goals and look like a very, very good side. Or you could end up with the Tottenham that, let's be honest, are just absolutely dreadful. And that's why I think for the long-term future of Tottenham, I think you need to sack Antonio Conte. Because, yes, he's got a reputation. Yes, he's a winner. But he only knows how to win one way. You don't really see him. You don't really see him bringing through young players, like Deji just said. You don't really see him, work it. He needs players that are like in their 30s that have been there, done it, seen it. That he can, he's a weird manager. He really is a weird manager. And if Tottenham go down that route of, okay, we're going to back Antonio Conte, we're going to give him what he wants, they're going to end up in a situation where they've got bare 30-year-olds at their club that are getting paid top dollar to be there as well. And yes, they might win a trophy. They might well do. But then in 2 years' time after that, then they're back at fucking square one again because all these players will be aging. They won't have any sell-on value or anything like that. So it's a weird one with Antonio Conte. It really is. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're calling you Mystic Dedge now, bro, because you're telling me that they're Champions League winners elect. So I want to see that. I want to see what's going on in, mate.
Yeah, you know what, Brandon? And look, I can't believe I'm saying this live on stream, but I actually agree with Aguna and Brandon because Brandon, one thing about you, mate, you live up to your title, mate. You speak the truth. Everything you said is absolutely spot on. I'm not sure Conte is the man for Spurs. I'm saying Pochettino, and I talked about the goldfish moment, but the stuff about the Champions League. What I was saying to Northside before you came on is, did you see Arsenal being where they are right now before the season started?
No way.
Right. I'm now saying, live now, because I'm making this prediction from early, I can see Arsenal winning the league, and I'll tell you why. Because when Leicester City won the league, every week I was waiting for them to lose, to then lose the next game and the next game and the next game. And guess what? It never happened, bruv. And they ended up winning the Premiership. Yeah, and they made history. I've been waiting for you guys to slip up all season. From game number 9. I remember telling Northside, wait till you get to the 10th game of the season and then you guys will get slapped up. Bro, the truth is, it's not happened. We're at game 16, 17. Arsenal are still getting points. You, man, worked Newcastle the other day. You worked them. So for me, it's official. The call it the gods if you want to call it that. Call it whatever you want to call it. But everything is favouring you. And I said this, and people thought I was bang out of order. When Nkitty Catty can do a pirouette, dancing on ice, and bang the ball in the back of the net, you know you're finished. You know, wrap up, shut down the stream, switch off all the lights, the world has gone to pot. That's basically what happened, yeah? Because this guy is banging in goals now. So for me, I can see Arsenal winning the league, even though we never saw it coming. Now, you might say Arsenal's playing good football, so in a sense, they deserve it because they're playing good football. Spurs ain't playing good football. We're still 5th. We're not playing good football. We're in the last 16. And the one thing about cup competition that I like better than the league is that it really just depends on the day. Who's to say Tottenham just don't pull off 4 miracles this season? Because you, man, have pulled off 17 miracles so far. Let's be real. You shouldn't, just on paper and based on the season you had last season, you shouldn't be top. Maybe 4th, maybe even 5th, challenging for 4th, but you shouldn't be. But you, man, right now, you're looking unstoppable. So my prediction is, and it also makes, I'm not going to lie, it makes for a good stream if Arsenal wins the league and Tottenham win Champions League.
No.
I'll be honest, Edge, right? I don't see it happening, mate. I don't. And I'll tell you for why, right? I'll tell you why. I know what you're saying about cup competition. And, you know, you don't know what Tottenham's going to turn up. You don't know what the opposition is going to do either. But I just look at it, and even against Palace the other night, your first 45 minutes weren't that great. Second 45 minutes, you come out and slapped them about and scored 4 goals. I just think that if Tottenham come up against a Real Madrid, a PSG, a Bayern Munich, any team like that, and have a poor first 45 minutes like the way that you have been doing consistently in games this season, you could get absolutely slapped about before, and then the game's lost before it even reaches the second half, kind of thing. A bit like, can you remember them, like the seasons that Arsenal were in the Champions and getting slapped about by Bayern Munich 8-2 and stuff like that? I could see something like that happening. But then at the same time, I can also see a second leg. Let's just say, for example, Tottenham play poor in the first leg. They're, I don't know, 4-0 down to Bayern Munich. I can also see a second leg where Tottenham come in the second leg and score 2 or 3 goals or 4 goals. So it's a weird one with Tottenham because they are such an up and down team. It's mad, but I don't see how Tottenham can win the Champions League just based off the fact that your football is just so unsustainable in the way that you play. It's not like you're playing regular good football. You know, you're sustaining it for 4, 5, 6 games where you can actually sit there and say, yeah, actually, you know, Tottenham can play good football consistently. You're such an up and down team at the moment. It's just, it's mad.
You're right, Brandon, and I'm probably going to say something that's going to probably end up me getting shot in the foot. I think with Spurs, unfortunately, Tottenham as a club, we defy logic. And when you put logic with Spurs, it just don't compute. That's just the truth. You put the numbers in the keyboard, you put it in the computer, and you get gobbledygook. The truth of the matter is, even the season that we got to the final of the Champions League, we weren't meant to get there. There's nobody that would have told you, yeah, we expected to see Spurs.
You weren't, but you played good football under Pochettino. When you play good attacking football, like you did under Pochettino, you can hurt any team. It's like, I remember Liverpool, right? Before they got Van Dijk, before they got Alisson, they could attack a team and they'll look really good going forward, but awfully defensively. And that's kind of what Tottenham was like under Pochettino in a way. Really, really good at attacking play, but not so good defensive play. So you can hurt teams in that way. I just don't see how Antonio Conte's 5 at the back, sit back, kind of try and hit them on the counter kind of football, it is going to win you a Champions League, especially with teams like Real Madrid. I just don't see it, bro. I really don't.
You're right. The only thing I can say is that when Tottenham, because look, we drew Brentford. Yeah, we had a crusty first half, but that second half, we were all over Brentford. And then you then watched Brentford against Liverpool the other day, and the way they slapped up Liverpool, and then you're scratching your head because you're thinking, were Brentford just really poor against Spurs, or were Spurs playing that dusty football? Were they kind of good? Because it's not making sense. Look, even Palace. Were Palace that poor? Because that wasn't a bad team they put out yesterday, but they got slapped 4-0. What I will say is this, though, bro. I've been saying this Champions League prediction before the season started, and I said it the last time you were on the show that arguably Tottenham probably got the most favourable group in the Champions League this year. I think for the round of 16, dare I say, if you speak to any Chelsea fan, every Chelsea fan will tell you that AC Milan team is dirt poor. We've been drawn with AC Milan. Mate, if you've got the gods on your side, we only need to draw City in the quarterfinals, mate.
We'll see, man.
We'll see in the quarters, semi-final, draw Liverpool, and game, set, and match, in my opinion. So I'm not gonna rule it out. But the fact of the matter is, I hear what you're saying. But what I will say is that when it comes to Spurs, we defy logic.
Calm. I want to move on to the Arsenal segment. Yeah. Deji, did you see the Arsenal versus Newcastle draw?
Of course not.
You didn't watch the game, now?
I don't watch Arsenal games. I try to, but I watched bits of it.
Did you watch the highlights?
I didn't watch the full game, but I watched bits. No, I was watching bits of the game, but I couldn't tune in to kind of, even as a neutral, I struggled to watch Arsenal as a neutral. I won't lie.
It burned you, innit? It burned you. What did you make of the game? The bits that you saw then, since you didn't watch the whole game.
The bits that I saw, you slapped up Newcastle. You were, I think, I haven't seen Newcastle outplayed this season, because even the game where they lost to Liverpool, Newcastle should have won that game. However, Newcastle were breathing a sigh of relief getting a draw against you, man. I had you guys down, by the way, reverse judge, to win 4-0. So you guys getting a draw, I think on the face of it, given the form that Newcastle's in, given the form that you guys are in, it was probably a right result. But you guys, if football was fair, you guys should have won that game, in my opinion. But what it did confirm to me, in the way that you slapped up Newcastle, was that this Arsenal team is the real deal. And if you can keep that starting 11 fit, you guys have nothing to worry about. I see Brendan, I see you, bro. People doing Humpty Dumpty, sat on the wall, stayed on the wall. We don't want to talk about the league yet. We're going to take each day as it comes. Nah, shut up. Pump your chest, man. Your first 11 is doing a good job. Your first 11 is doing bits right now. And I have to say, the way everything is going for Arsenal right now, if you, man, don't win the league, something seriously went wrong.
But how can we pump up? Listen, for me, yeah, how can I pump my chest when you've got Nketiah as our main striker right now. Yeah, and how can I pump my chest when we're trying to chase a game when we know we can't drop points? When you're in a title race, you can't drop points, and this manager will rather put on a defender instead of putting on a Fabio Vieira or Marquinhos. Whether we rate them or not, when you're chasing a game, you need to throw the kitchen sink at it.
Bro, it's Newcastle. But it's Newcastle. You know, bro. You know, I said this to you before. I don't remember a Premier League team winning every game. I don't remember it. You're gonna drop.
I get that, but it's still not acceptable for a manager that has substitutions to only bring on a defender when you're trying to get the 3 points.
But bro,
that's not good enough. You know, it's not good enough as well for these players to only show up for 20 odd minutes.
I can't believe I'm bigging up Arteta here, but I would have done the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. You're playing Newcastle, who is a dangerous team, who can on their day can slap you up. The safest thing is to just get the point and move on. Play your next game, win that. Do you get what I'm saying? For me, I felt that it was well managed by Arteta. I don't think he did anything wrong. You bring on a Marquinhos in that sort of game, or Vieira or whatever, and then Joe Linton farts in their face. I mean, they're done for. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Joe Linton sits on them, and they're out the game. So for me, I thought Arteta made a wise move. He kept it solid. You guys look solid. You lot were outplaying Newcastle. And, you know, you have to say, after 17 games, that you guys are the real deal. What I'm not going to accept or be feeling is this kind of pretense that's coming from the Arsenal faithful. Bro, I'm not making a disparaging comment about your character, you or Brandon. But I'm not having this, you know, we're not great. You lot, when the cameras are off, you guys are excited. You're sleeping in your Arsenal t-shirt. You can see what's coming down.
Let me tell you this. This manager, has not shown me a good plan B this season. It's either plan A.
Just scored, by the way.
Oh, City scored. Shit, City scored. Oh, bloody hell. Who scored? Was it Haaland?
I think it was Grealish.
Grealish? Cracky. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, go on.
But yeah, like I was saying, I've not seen Arteta have a good plan B this whole season, bro. The match against Man United, they were allowing us to have all the possession, and the argument was, "Oh, we played better, we deserve to win." Well, we didn't. And what are we going to do when teams sit back and we can't play through them? You need a plan B. You know, you need to make the substitutions to affect the game and grind out the points, because at the end of the season, bro, it's going to be tight. You know, but the Newcastle game and the Man United game, both teams sat off of us, allowed us to have all the possession, and we had no answer.
I think you're being harsh. I think you're being very harsh on offside. I ain't gonna lie, mate. I think you're being harsh. I said to you, and I do agree. I think he made the wrong substitution, Mikel Arteta. I think you should have brought on. I think you should have brought on Tierney, because Tierney would have been able to offer us the width. We was playing too much through the middle of the pitch. I said all this the other day, and it kind of made it a little bit easier for Newcastle. If you had Tierney, you know, overlapping Martinelli, you might have been able to get them a bit more one-on-one, create a bit more width, maybe throw a few more balls in the box, and then, you know, it's a 50-50. Then you never know. But we did find it hard to break down Newcastle. But where I'll disagree with you on this one, Northside, you've got to also have the options to be able to, you know, change the game a little bit. I don't feel like we had any options, really. I mean, I'm sitting here and talking about Kieran Tierney. He's a defender. About him coming on and changing the game. I don't think Fabio Vieira would have done very much, anything very much different to what Odegaard sort of did, or Xhaka, or any of the midfielders that were playing.
And he's very... Those players that neither me or you really wanted at the club. This manager chose to get Fabio Vieira, and then you don't even trust him. I agree with you that look at what he's got, but he's created this bench. He brought in Marquinhos.
And I don't disagree with that either. I think what we're missing.
We can't just have one way of playing football. Arsenal play tiki-taka. And if we can't tiki-taka the whole way to the goal, we have no other way of changing the game. All great managers can change it up. He has to be able to change it up as well. And if he doesn't have the players, why didn't we get it done in the summer then? So either way, it's his fault. For the bench that we have, it's his fault. And for the fact that we don't change it up if teams just sit back and just take on, us having the possession and we can't break them down. You can't just have, I'm sorry, but both things to me go to Arteta. It's not good enough, bro. You need another plan. I don't know. I didn't see it against Newcastle and I didn't see it against Man United. So for me, either way, it's Arteta's fault, in my opinion. He's still got time to change my mind, but I haven't seen it so far.
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this because, I'm not usually here to defend. But, you've played 17 games. You've won 14. You've drawn 2. You've lost 1.
What's that?
You've played 17 games. You've won 14. You've drawn 2. You've lost 1.
Yeah. Okay. What's your point? What's your point?
Point being, bro, I hear what you're saying, but
Deji's deluded.
Deji,
right.
He's deluded, bro. He hasn't got a clue. He's deluded, bro.
He's getting it right.
It's like, bro, you can't go any higher. The only thing is, it's like when you talk about, okay, let's reality is, all right, no one really knows what goes on behind Arsenal till Unai Emery come out and started speaking, and obviously he lost his job like a few months later, down November, down the line. Emery come out and said it. He said, I didn't want Herrera and I didn't want Pepe. I wanted Partey and I wanted Wilfred Zaha. They went and got him Herrera. So we don't even know really, going through that evidence, did Arteta want this guy, Fabio Vieira? We don't even know that. It might have been a club signing, because that's what happens sometimes. And that's why Conte is kicking off. He's thinking, you're signing players I don't want. That's the problem. What happens when you've got owners like ours and theirs and American owners, and the Glazers were doing it. So it's more to it than just blaming the manager, because sometimes the owner, he's not the one who says, you know what, here's the money, I'll give it all in at one point. It don't work like that. Obviously, he's on the committee, but his job is to take a note and say, I want these players. That's the same as Conte's job. And then you've got to fight for them players. But it's down to them to get them. It's down to the club.
Well, that's not what he comes out and says. Every time.
No, but that's Emery said it. I'm going off what Emery said. So it could be the same scenario.
Every time he always says that him and Edu are the ones that pick the players.
But you gotta say that. But reality is,
that's not my problem, then, innit? I'm gonna judge on what I see, innit?
Well, judging on football. If you're gonna judge on football,
the biggest Achilles heel that we have, and you even agreed to this, is the bench. Yeah, we need to do more business.
The bench, we know that, but
I don't understand why we didn't. So if he doesn't have the bench to change it up, then why didn't we get more business done in the summer? We're going up against Man City. And Man City against Chelsea, yeah?
Bro,
so I am going to have my backup.
Yeah, but this is what you're...
I'm expecting, hold on, when I'm expecting a manager to bring in more substitutions, and I'm expecting a manager...
But it's not FIFA. You're going to FIFA, bro.
Actually have a bench.
It's not FIFA, and it's not playing manager. It's reality.
Can I just throw something out here as well, right? We're defying, like Deji was saying earlier, we're defying logic at the moment. Because I agree, Northside, we should have done more in the summer. 100% we should have done more in the summer. Because we look at our bench now and it's just not good enough. It's championship level at best. But did any of us expect Arsenal to be in this position? No. So, and I don't think Edu or Arteta expected us to be in this position either. So I think they've done enough investment into the team to just to be able to get top four.
Top four. I agree with you, yeah.
And now that we're in a title race and we need more.
Thank you, Brandon.
We haven't got enough.
Thank you for pumping your chest.
Okay. So, yeah, I agree. 100% we need more. At the end of the day, we're going to find out very, very soon how serious this football club is. Because
thank you. Thank you,
we're
Brandon.
in a title race. They have no fucking excuses to not get deals done in January. Whether this Mudryk deal happens or not is irrelevant because they've already put in bids. So we know they've got money. Yeah. We know that they can strengthen the team. We know they can afford to do that. The point is are they doing it with the right players? I'm not so sure. I look at this, like, for example, Mudryk, 88 million euros for a guy that's played 45 games. That's mad. Absolute madness. That, like, Maybe, who knows? I mean, like, look at Arteta's signings for our first 11. A lot of them have been, very good. So you kind of have to trust the manager in this one, and they do. But if it was me, I'd be thinking, right, we need a player that's going to help us now. Mudryk, he might be very good in the future, or he might even be very good now. But there's no guarantee that the guy's going to settle into the league straight away. If he don't settle into the league straight away and start helping Arsenal straight away, that will cost us the league title. And ultimately, we'll get brought back into this top 4 race. However, if we're a bit more sensible with our deals and go, right, okay, 88 mil is what Shakhtar is quoting us. Can we find a couple of players within the Premier League that will cost us a little bit less money, that will do a just as good a job, and they're already settled into the league? Well, the answer is yes. There's 2 players that I would go out and get straight away. Leandro Trossard, because he can do a job. He'll strengthen the bench. And either Ivan Toney or Mitrovic from Fulham. Yeah. Because he'll offer something different, or they'll offer something different to the 2 strikers that we've already got. Eddie Nketiah plays a very similar way to Gabriel Jesus in the way that he tries to come deep for the ball, in the way that, they just play very similar. If we had them 2 players, Leandro Trossard and Mitrovic, or Leandro Trossard and Ivan Toney against Newcastle, I believe we would have won that game.
Yeah.
But that's the difference. So, we've got to give the club chance to get these deals done.
But Brandon,
will you take Wilfred Zaha?
I'd take Wilfred Zaha as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll take Wilfred Zaha.
Because Wilfred, if you get Zaha, he has to start, so he's going to go on the bench. But what I will say is this, though. As much as I agree with you, Brandon, you said something. Let's be real. You guys have pulled a rabbit out the hat. Yeah? And currently, I think it's fair to say, I mean, Arsenal Manic, he can't stand me when I say this, but I will say it. I can't help but think, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Nah.
Who are you gonna bring in right now that's really gonna help your squad? I mean, you said Trossard and Toney. What are they really gonna leave their clubs to come and sit on the bench for Arsenal?
Why not? We're in a league. Why not? You're telling me, right, Leandro Trossard, who's only got, I think, a year or 2 left on his deal, by the way, won't leave Brighton, who, look, they're a decent footballing side, but they're never going to win anything. Do you know what I mean? We are the most attractive club in the Premier League right now because of where we are in the league, because we're with a shout of winning a league title. The only other club that is more attractive than us is Manchester City, because they've been there, they've done it, they've seen it. I believe you go in and you offer the right money for Trossard, you offer the right money for Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney won't leave Brentford. Of course he will. Mitrovic,
sit on the bench.
Yeah, but it's all about competition for places, Dej. Not only that, right? It's not a case of him coming in and sitting on the bench. It's a case of there's going to be a lot of games. Like, we've got, 20, 23, 24 games left to play. Plus Europa League as well, and FA Cup and whatever other competitions that we're still in, right? And there's going to be a lot of teams now that have watched that Newcastle game, and they're going to look at that as a blueprint on how to play against Arsenal. They're going to sit deep. They're going to try and hit on the counter. Manchester United did the same thing when they beat us earlier on in the season. So that kind of is the blueprint to play Arsenal and Manchester United. So you need these players that can offer something different. So it's not just a case of them coming in and sitting on the bench, because they're going to get used for at least half the games this season, at the very, very least. Because there's going to be times where we're going to have to try and break teams down, and we're going to need players like that to come on and make the difference.
It looks like people in the chat are undecisive.
But you know what it is, though. In a way, Man City, Arsenal,
you got to manage a game. You got to manage a game. Like, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, you got to manage a game. Arteta's done very well, and I've praised him this season. But at the end of the day, we all know, even forward knows, the bench ain't good enough. So
No,
we'll
the
see.
bench ain't
I'm
good
gonna
enough.
judge him-
But
I'm gonna
you
judge
got
him at the end of the
but,
January transfer window and
but
see
they
where
know
the
they got to do that, bro. It ain't rocket. It ain't rocket
At the
science.
same time, hold on. At the same time, the only thing I'm going to say is this: you do need to be able to manage a game. It's up to the manager to make tactical changes. Up to the manager to make substitutions. Yes, of course, against Newcastle, maybe Marquinhos wouldn't have done enough. Maybe Fabio Vieira wouldn't have. But it's come, you go for it. We're in a title challenge.
Gamble. You got to
You have to
gamble
use
more.
exactly. What harm could it do? Like, we didn't take the points as it was. Do you know what I'm saying? So I want to see that from Arteta. You know, Arteta is slowly getting me to have a little bit of belief. But tactically, things that are in his hands, sometimes he's not doing it. And
But
at the
at
end
the
of
same
the
time,
day,
North side. But at the same time, if these players are not ready, right? Fabio Vieira not ready. Marquinhos definitely ain't ready. You bring on a player like Fabio Vieira or Marquinhos, and they make a mistake or something like that, and we end up losing the game. Well, that's worse than getting a draw, surely. Do you see what I'm saying? So I get where you're coming from. I do get where you're coming from. Arteta has to be better at managing games and especially with substitutions and that. Like
He's
I said,
won 14 games, though.
I know. I agree with it.
and he does.
Yeah.
14
No, it's
of
right.
17
It's right.
games.
He does have to get better at managing games with his subs, especially because, like I said, I think he brought on the wrong substitution. Anyway, I definitely think Kieran Tierney should have come on in that game. But if you bring on a player that ain't ready and it ends up costing you, like I don't see any reason why he should have brought on a Marquinhos or a Fabio Vieira. I don't think they would have done anything different. We was on top as well. We was not creating clear-cut chances, but that's because we wasn't good enough in the final third. But apart from that, we was all over Newcastle. So he didn't really have much reason to change it. I mean, if it had turned a little bit where Newcastle was then attacking us and, we looked a bit shaky or whatever, then I would completely understand it if he did that. But I don't know.
Did Martinelli have a good game? Did Odegaard have a good game? I know that off the bench, Marquinhos and Fabio Vieira are amazing. But those two players stood out, are one of the few that stood out that were having shocking games. So when a player's having that much of a bad game, can anyone from the bench do any worse?
Well, I don't think. Do you know what?
No.
You know what people don't realize.
Gamble. I would take the gamble because
I don't think Martin Odegaard. He wasn't that bad, bro. It's just when you're playing against a team, all right, and I think Deji, you agree with me, and you all agree with me. When you're playing against a team, what's gone out against teams, but then their tactic was 11-1. They packed everyone behind the bus. They did. Newcastle didn't even come out and try to play football. Even their striker was centre half. Every time Arsenal come forward.
Attacking team.
But I'm saying to you, but that's when you let me finish. But when you play the big boys, that's how you play, like Man City and Real Madrid and the Bayern Munich to the world and all that. When you play against them, that's how teams really set up against them. So no, every team, in the first 20 minutes, Newcastle didn't touch the ball. But they thought, oh, no, we got to go all out and just defend. That's the reality of football.
That happened to Arsene Wenger. When you play attacking football, teams are going to try and stifle you. You then need to expect that.
But that happened to Arsene Wenger. Yeah, but this is now. You listen. You can't contradict yourself. You turn around and say, "I want a challenge." He's won 14 games in the league. How many teams have done that?
Okay, let me ask you something.
That's why he's top. Sometimes you need to hold back and think, "Wait there, he's doing well."
Let me ask what you said.
We haven't got points for
Have I once said that he hasn't done well? Okay, I haven't said that. Cool.
But you're moaning about something. It's reality. He's not really nothing.
Pep Guardiola is probably the best manager in the world. Yeah. Do people still not criticize him? Constructive criticism as to with all the money that he spends at Man City not winning the Champions League. No one is perfect.
But how can you criticize him?
Hold on, but there's areas that you can improve. That's all I'm saying.
I call them people. I call them people who criticize Guardiola because he haven't won the Champions League for Man City, idiots. Because let me tell you something: when Manchester United were bullying up the league, when no one was challenging them, Guardiola was the only one who said, "Listen, when I see you in the final, welcome to reality." You have Messi out with the real Ferdinand jumping over Ferdinand and scoring headers in the Champions League. In 2009, when they bullied everyone, Barcelona said, "Get out of here, you're not that good." And in 2011, when they got to the final again and played Barcelona, they got whipped again. So we're talking about Guardiola. Guardiola don't have to prove nothing because when not England teams were getting bullied by Man United, he was bullying them. So he's got 2 Champions League. Because when he retires, he's going to go down as a manager that's won the Premier League 3 times in a row, won the Champions League twice, and he's won more than any other manager. So I'm going to criticize him.
But no manager's perfect. And you can give them constructive criticism.
But
Otherwise,
you're saying, how can you criticize?
Hold on. You're getting all butthurt about Arteta. I said one thing about him, and you're there getting bad. Bro, you can suck him off as much as you want, bro. This guy ain't perfect, and he's still a novice, bro. He's done well.
No. You don't like the fact.
There's things to his game that can be improved, bro. Like, you're getting bare butthurt about it, bro. Like, has he won anything yet?
No. I'm on about Guardiola. Don't change the subject. Stop digressing. We're talking about Guardiola. We're talking about Pep Guardiola. How can people criticize him?
I said to you, hold on. I said to you, yeah, even a manager as good as Pep Guardiola gets constructive criticism. No manager's perfect. We've seen in the 2 games that we've been stifled, yeah, he hasn't had a plan B. That is a fact.
But he's top of the table. That is a fact.
When you're looking at this bench, even before the season started, me, Brandon, bare people said that this bench.
But they're top of the table. You cried at the start of the season. We're top of the table.
I said the bench is not good enough. Put careers, carambas.
But Deji, before you land on Deji, we're not talking about that. When he listens to the likes of Gary Neville, look at his managing career. How can he talk about Guardiola? He's the one criticizing him, and that's who you listen to. Come on, bro, educate yourself. Look at the people you're listening to. People get Graham Souness. He was a shit manager at Blackburn. All these people who criticize Guardiola ain't got his career. 2 Champions Leagues. How many Premier League titles have Souness won? Zilch. How many Gary Neville won? He had 1 good job, and look what happened to him. You can't really take these people seriously because they haven't done it themselves. So if they're going to criticize Guardiola looks at things, criticize, because where's your Champions League? It's the truth, though, isn't it? Do you get what I'm saying, Dej?
Yeah, I hear you.
You can't listen to these mediocre people they put on TV criticizing Guardiola because they ain't even in his league. And I think Brendan will agree with me on that. You got to understand, these people criticize just to get reactions of fans like you who will jump on it and like, bro, don't listen to these fan people, bro. Tell me, Guardiola is the best.
Can I? Sorry, guys, I'm not trying to take it left, but I've been keeping tabs on the chat, and one of my favorite commentators in the chat, Arsenal Manic. You know what I mean? I try and support my brother with a lot of the stuff that he's going through. So he's saying to me, this is slightly left. Deji, you were adamant that you had better players than us, and you were concerned for us. You said no team could match Son and Kane. It's over for the league, blah, blah. Now you are moaning. Arsenal Manic, I don't know if you had hot wax in your ears when I was making my comments, because I never said that Arsenal's... Basically, what I'm saying is your team, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're top of the league, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's the first thing I've said. Secondly, I still personally believe the Tottenham team is better than the Arsenal team. However, the Tottenham team is not being used in the right way. It can happen. I don't know why the truth started to get little flickers like he's been seeing flashing lights. The truth of the matter is that the Tottenham team, look, we've got better players, but the players aren't being used in the right way. Yes.
What?
How many world class players in your starting 11? Let's just squash this real quick.
Okay, let's squash this real quick. Let's go.
Let's go through. I just want to give me the numbers. I don't want to.
Let's go through. Let's go through both teams. 11 v 11.
All right, quickly. Sorry, Northside. Quickly, I just want to do how many world-class players in both teams, and we don't want no bias stuff.
Yeah, but on your team, world class to absolute dog shit is mad, and you got bare dog shit players.
Let's just do it.
That's why that argument.
Let's just quickly pattern it. Go on, Brandon. Let's go.
Look at Dej.
What, world class?
Quickly, how many world-class players you got in your team?
Dej, you only got one. That's Harry Kane. Son ain't world class, bro.
No.
Son ain't world class. That's
bro.
That guy's been missing, and he always goes missing every year.
Tottenham have 3 world-class players.
No,
3? Who?
Yeah, should I tell you? And then be ready with yours, and I don't hear no nonsense. Harry Kane, yes.
Arguably, yes.
Despite what's happening to Son this season, he is world class. I know he's going through a barren run, but he is world class.
He's not world class.
Please, no, Please don't do that, Northside. And last but not least, and bear in mind, I told you this at the beginning of the
Don't you
season.
dare say Emerson Royale.
No, Romero.
Nah,
No.
he ain't World Class.
No. He's a World Cup winner. He's world class.
Yeah, he's world class.
How many world class have you got?
I gotta agree with him, right?
Exactly,
Right,
Bro, just saying he's a World Cup winner. Mustafi won the World Cup.
No one.
No, come on.
Okay,
hang
so
on, Dej. No.
Romero played. Listen, Romero played a big.
Hang on. Dej,
Romero is
you're
world
trying to
class. He won World Cup.
Hang on, Dej. You're trying to tell me Son is world class, but Bukayo Saka isn't.
Go on, Dej.
What do you mean?
Are
you saying Saka's world class?
Yeah, I agree with Brendan. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah,
If you're saying Saka is world class, I'm gonna add a fourth.
Go on, Who?
Kulusevski.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, because my man Cooley is doing what Saka's doing. True.
Oh,
That's why.
No, he's not doing what Saka.
He is.
Oh my
No,
God!
he's not doing what Saka. Look at this
He's
guy.
not
He's
doing
such a
what
liar,
he
right?
You've lost your head, bro.
He's a bad man. You would love Cooley, bro. You would love him.
But it doesn't mean he's
Don't get me wrong. Kulusevski's a very good player.
What's
World
this?
very
Very
good.
good. Backing out world class like that, Deji.
Are you sure Saka's not a very good player?
No, not the front world class to any other player, bro.
How
are you going to say world class, bro? How can you just dash out world class like that?
Bro, Kulusevski
and Son. How can you be a world class player?
Son is world class, bro.
Son goes missing.
Son
is
definitely world class.
He's not world class, bro.
Son is definitely world class, bro.
No,
just
he's
because
not.
he's had a bad season, don't make him that he's not world class.
So he doesn't go missing every season. There's periods in the season.
There's periods of time, bro. But
how can you be world class?
What Son's been doing in the Premier League, bro, I think he deserves the right to be called world class.
He's not world class, bro.
Bro, so Saka's world class already.
Saka.
I wouldn't say Saka.
Let me tell you something about.
He's up there.
Brandon said Saka's world class.
Okay, let me tell you something about Saka, right? And let me ask you a question at the end as well. And I'll see what your answer is. Yeah? Bukayo Saka burst onto the scene at Arsenal, 18? He's now, 21? To begin with, bit up and down, whatever. But for the past 3 seasons, this guy has been carrying this team. Not this season, but the last 2 seasons, he has been carrying this team at his age. He is also, carried the England team for the majority of that World Cup, right?
Okay.
Now, the question comes. Name me 3, 4 players that play in the same position as Bukayo Saka that are around his age or a similar age to him that are better.
I wouldn't say better, but I would say on par. Kulusevski is 21, I think. And I know you don't look it, but he does a bloody great job on that right.
I'm not disputing.
I'm not going to say up to Saka, but I would say
turn up in the World Cup. Did Son turn up in the World Cup?
Say it again?
Did Son turn up in the World Cup?
No, he didn't. But bro, I'm just saying. But look at his
turns up for his
what I will say about Brandon's comments. I love our country, but even within the England team, how many players could you say is world class even in that squad? I'm not going to lie to you. And he was propping up an Arsenal team that, let's say, Saka is world class, even though I think it's too soon to say he's world class. There's no other world class players in that team.
But if it's too soon to say Saka's world class, then it's too soon to say Kulusevski is.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. But you can't say it's too soon to say Son's world class.
Yes. No.
Anyway, let me do something. Let me do something I've never done before on this show. Let me give you one. I'll give you that. I have Saka. Even though Fear of Black London...
So then we've got one each then.
Fear of Black London agrees with me that it's too early to say that Saka's world class. Who else you got?
Well, then we've got one each. Then
No,
haven't we?
it's not 1-1. Tottenham's got
course it
3
is.
world class. Tottenham's got 3 world class. We've got a clip that unfortunately we can't play where Northside at the beginning of the season was saying
This
Tottenham have
fool, man. This
Hang
the
on.
guy's.
Right, hang on.
in Son and Kane. I lied, Northside. At the beginning of the
I didn't hear
season, you
because of
said
what?
So who?
Son and Kane are world class.
Dej, who was the other three?
You said Son and Kane at the beginning of the season are world class for Spurs.
I rebuke that. Son ain't world class.
No, bro, no. What you did say is what I'm saying.
Who
I
was
don't
the
know
other?
what
Who was the other? Who was the third one that you said? Dej. Who was the
Third
third
one
one?
is Romero.
Romero. So if Romero's world class, then Saliba is as well. Then
Okay, fine. 3-2.
yeah.
Yeah. So 3-2. So the
How
point
is
being, yeah, Romero, Son, Kane.
Son ain't world class.
You're not
bro.
taking. You're
Son
not
ain't
doing.
world-class.
You're not saying that Kane, Son is not world class. I'm not having that. Everybody
not.
knows Son is world class. You
Let
can
me have a
ask
look at
any
this, hang
fan on any show.
Let
Don't
me have a
do
look
that,
at this.
Brandon. So I'm happy
I'll
to
put him in
accept
later.
that. So basically, in answer to Arsenal Manic's question, we have a better team.
You
Bro,
don't.
all right, listen,
No way.
I'm ill, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up.
Anyway,
We got the
look,
North
both sides
London
not
derby.
well, so we've got unfinished business. We will continue on the next show.
Listen, we've got the North London derby coming up.
But before we go, can we quickly do predictions for the next game? Because I would love to do that.
The North London derby, because we got I think it's an FA Cup game now. It's an FA Cup
Yeah.
against.
So are we
Oxford.
just gonna do
Let's
North
go
London
past
derby?
that to the North London derby. Deji,
Alright.
what's your match prediction?
3-0 Arsenal.
Rah, really?
Yeah.
Okay, forward. What's your match prediction,
2-1 Arsenal.
Brandon?
I don't know. I don't know. This game, for some reason, I don't know. I'm
What are you panicking about? We're playing rubbish.
because yeah, you should know better than anyone else. Form goes out of the window. Look at Arsenal when we had Mustafi at the back and Tottenham were flying high at the top of the league, playing good football. And then you come to the Emirates, we slap you up. And let's be honest, we don't have a great record away at Tottenham. We don't. So would that play a factor as well? Quite possibly. The fact that you just beat Crystal Palace 4-0, would that play a factor? Bit of confidence in your players? Quite possibly. I don't know. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it'll either be a draw or Arsenal just win.
I got you down for 3-0.
Look at this guy. What are you trying to do here? It's reverse psychology, yeah? If we don't beat them, it's like, rah, you lot was expected to beat us. You're not there to beat us. That's why, bro, I see you, don't go anywhere. I see you. I'm going for 1-0. I do agree with Brandon that our record there isn't great.
So, no, as in 1-0 to Arsenal.
1-0 to Arsenal, yeah. I think even though Fuad got very butthurt and me, having 1-2 things to say about his manager, I do think he's done very well this season in Arsenal looking together. And even when things aren't going our way, we can at least leave with a point like we showed against Newcastle. So I think it's a different Arsenal this season. Yeah. Whether we're going to win the league, for me, it depends on the business we do in January.
I'll make this last comment, and this might show you how far I've fallen from grace. I'm predicting Arsenal wins from now to the end of the season.
I don't trust you, bro. I don't trust you, bro. You're up to something. I said that. Look at this guy.
No. Right, Northside, you can't end the stream. You can't end the stream yet. I still want to know why Deji is saying that Tottenham have got a better team than us. No way.
Bruv, we just dealt with this.
Right, no, we haven't dealt with this. So let's go real quick as well, because Northside
needs to go. He's not feeling well.
Yeah?
We have to, yeah.
11 v 11. So let's go. Goalkeeper, Lloris or Ramsdale?
Ramsdale.
What, better than Lloris, yeah?
Yeah.
See, although I like Ramsdale and I think he's very good, based off of the longevity that Lloris has done, I would probably give you Lloris.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Right back, Emerson Royale or Ben White?
Ben White.
There you go. So what? That's 1-1, yeah?
Yeah.
Saliba or Romero. You can't really pick between the two.
Much of a muchness.
Yeah. Gabriel Magalhaes or Eric Dyer.
I don't know if it's Eric Dyer. It could well be.
Well, it is because Eric Dyer's playing at centre back for you right now, isn't he?
Oh, Longley's playing centre back.
Or Longley. All right.
They played the three now.
Longley and Gabriel, much of a muchness.
Longley and Gabriel.
Longley, nah, come on, man. Gabriel's better.
No, bro. You haven't seen Longley.
What do you mean I haven't seen? Your defense is appalling, bro.
Bro, have you seen Gabriel?
You admit the last time
Be
we spoke,
honest.
the only
Gabriel. When I watch Gabriel play, I start singing. You should have been light. You should have been this. You should have been lighter. You know that. You know that tune. Gabriel is a joker. Never.
If that's Gabriel, what's that?
Who's your left back?
Perisic.
Perisic.
Yeah.
All right. Perisic or Zinchenko / Tierney.
Perisic is not bad.
Perisic is a good player.
Perisic is not bad, to be fair.
But I'd still have Zinchenko.
Okay.
Let's
go.
Yo, I'm off. All right, peace off, all right, lads. Nice one, guys.
We're just quickly wrapping this up. 1 more minute. Go on.
Højbjerg or Partey?
Højbjerg. On the basis that Højbjerg in that same role has got more goals this season. Only because of that. Partey is a big game player. I'll see what he does. He's a quality player. He's just got more goals.
Okay. I disagree. Thomas Partey.
Thomas Partey is
Partey.
Why we're at the position that we're at. Top of the league. But
Bentancur or what is Bentancur more of an attacking midfielder or is he more of an 8?
Is it 8?
So Bentancur or Granit Xhaka then?
Yeah, Bentancur, come on.
Yeah, I'll give you Bentancur. Fine.
Yeah,
Who normally plays in your number 10 role?
We don't have a number 10.
So who am I?
But you could argue we don't have a 10, but we don't have one.
What player is most like Martin Odegaard in terms of who would you match up against Martin Odegaard, who we haven't already mentioned?
In our midfield, the closest match would have been Højbjerg.
Okay.
Because he's kind of doing that role, to be honest.
Well, we
only have 2 in the middle, that's why.
We could switch it then and say Højbjerg or Martin Odegaard, and then we could go Basuma or Thomas Partey.
Why do you have to do it that way around? But okay, go ahead.
Because he knows what that is.
Well, that makes sense.
Have the 2 midfielders, then Son over Martinelli, Kane over Jesus, Kulusevski and Saka. I'll be honest. I think Saka and Kulusevski are equal, but Saka has more media hype. And hear me out, that's not a dig. Saka is a class act. I don't get it twisted. But so is Kulusevski. We just haven't seen enough of him because of injury and that sort of stuff. But Kuli is a big game player. Don't get it twisted.
See, I'd give you Kane, and I'd give you Son, again based off longevity, and he probably has done a little bit more than Martinelli.
Not a little bit.
But
it's not a little bit.
I'm taking Saka over Kulusevski.
Take Saka over. So what is it a draw?
Well, Saka, Partey. Who was the other one? You said Bentancur, didn't you? So Odegaard.
Yeah. We said
Zinchenko.
We agreed on Loris, and we said much of a muchness. All right, Spurs 5, you 5.
Yeah, roughly.
That's calm. Then Dej, keep to your prediction then, innit? You're gonna win Champions League, yeah? You wanna prop up your team, prop up your squad. It's levels, so cool, isn't it? Keep the same energy.
Okay, so what are you saying then? If Tottenham win the Champions League, Brandon, would you accept that Tottenham squad is better than your squad?
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say, isn't it? Because Arsenal are not in the Champions League. I'll be very, it'd be shock of the fucking year if Tottenham win the Champions League. I'm telling you.
You have to come and see me face to face if Tottenham win the Champions League.
Yeah,
Come see me face to face.
I'm calling you all out. But look, we ain't finished. We got unfinished business, Karamba. Put careers, Karamba. But I'm sticking with my guns. But for me, I've got Arsenal to win every game until the end of the season.
That's mad. You're over here trying to argue that you got a better squad, but then you're saying that we'll beat you 3-0 at your ground. Make that make sense. All right, cool. You don't really believe in your squad as much as you try and say you do. But it is what it is, isn't it?
Well, it's been misused. It's been misused. But look, on that note, look, thank you. And then you'll see. We've got unfinished business. So, when are we back? Are we back after the FA Cup, or are we just gonna do with Brandon the kind of build up to the North London derby next week? For me personally, there's not much. It's not much of a build up. We know what's gonna happen. But what is the plan?
Yeah, North London derby, man. We'll go straight to that, man. We'll go straight to that. It's on a Sunday, so yeah, we'll probably do it on the Monday. We'll probably do the show on a Monday.
And then you're going to be about to confirm?
I'll be about. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Craig, I've been smoking Arsenal right now. Arsenal to win every game. I can see you guys. You guys got the same spirit as Leicester, where it's not making sense.
I don't like this, you know. I don't like him comparing us to Leicester.
What do you mean?
We're big club.
It feels like a Leicester, though, no?
Not really, because we're not the same size club.
Really, no.
Leicester was not expected to win the league, and every week we were expecting them to flop. The flop never happened. They won the league. Northside, you and Brandon have sat on the fence like Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. You lot stayed
on the fence.
Because you man are saying you man don't believe Arsenal can win the league.
Not with the current players that we have right now.
So how is it different to Leicester then?
What do you mean? How is it different?
Nobody believed they could do it, and they done it. You man don't currently believe that this squad can do it.
No, but there's other examples.
No, I'm saying to you,
what I
will do it.
What I will say though, Dej.
What about when Conte went to Chelsea and won the league?
Yeah,
you could give that example because you got slapped up by Arsenal, changed the formation, and went on to win the league.
Yeah, I never saw that coming, but that wasn't like a Leicester.
What I will say is we get 2 decent signings in this January transfer window, 2, and I think we will win the league.
I can see you guys doing it without the signings. How about that?
Off this current squad, there is so much football to play. There's still loads of different scenarios that could still happen. Let's be honest, we're Thomas Partey injury away from that's it.
What is this guy doing? What are you doing, Brandon? Wishing bad upon your players. You asked me a question. You said you don't like me comparing it to Leicester. But the reason why you're hanging on the fence for dear life in this tornado is because it feels like a Leicester to you. You can't believe what is happening to your club right now. You and Northside. You can't believe it. And so you're waiting for there to be a demise, but there ain't no demise. It's not coming, guys.
From that point, I do agree with you. But comparing us to Leicester.
I said it's like a Leicester.
All I'm going to say about the January transfer window, if you fail...
And let me tell you why. And then we got to go. Leicester squad, nobody believed that Leicester squad can pull it off. You don't believe that the current squad as is can pull it off. I'm telling you, with the way I've seen the results go in these 17 games, it's looking like you man are going to pull it off. Therefore, it's like Leicester. Because no one believes this squad is good enough, yet you're top of the league. And you keep winning. You keep getting points. That's my point. And on that note, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mystic Dej. And we will see you on the 16th after the North London derby. Arsenal taking on Tottenham at
when's the Champions League back, by the way?
February.
February.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for that because if you lose to AC Milan, my brother, you're in trouble.
The Assemble said, Deji, concentrate on Spurs winning the Champions League. Brandon, you don't worry about Spurs. You focus on the Prem. Focus on the Prem.
Listen, here's what it is. Listen, we're gonna wrap up now. Natstar, look, sorry I couldn't get you on, bro. I'm ill. Look how many like tissues and that I got, man. Listen, my nose is running.
Wishing you a speedy recovery, bro. Make sure you rest up.
I weren't even gonna do the show, man. I'm mad ill, but I feel I got some flu or something. But I thought, man,
Brandon, big up to you as well. Big up to everyone in the chat. Enough love. Do you know what I mean? It's all banter, it's all love. Obviously, Root Beer or whatever his name, Root Calls. When he settles himself in it, he can come back to this. But man, trying to draw out my mum here, you know, I think obviously he's got a couple of screws loose. So yeah. Anyway, on that note, thank you everyone. Big up Northside. Wishing you speedy recovery, Brandon, and we'll see you next week for the North London mashup show. But I'm going to disappoint you guys because I ain't coming to bring Tottenham smoke. I'm coming to big up your beloved team with my reverse judge. And on that note, we say good night.
he's a bastard.